Your name, your address, and your phone number are floating around the internet. Easy for strangers, scammers, and companies you've never heard of to find. Data brokers and shady databases collect and sell your private details to anyone willing to pay, putting you at risk of nonstop spam, scams, and fraud. You can't stop them from collecting data, but you can control who gets to keep it. That's why I use Incogni. They remove your private information from more than 420 of these sites automatically. And with their unlimited plan, you get total coverage. If you spot your personal details anywhere else online, just send them the link, and their privacy experts will get it taken down. It's the easiest, most complete way to protect yourself and personal life. Right now, you can lock in 60% off with my exclusive deal at privacykim.com. Go to privacykim.com right now and start protecting your privacy. This is so important. Privacykim.com. That's privacykim.com.
Welcome to the Kim Komando Show podcast for the weekend of February 24th, 2024. Thank you for listening to the Kim Komando Show. Here's hour one.
I always like to kick things off with something fun, and NASA is looking for 4 brave volunteers to live in a Mars simulation. Yeah, maybe this is you, definitely not for me. Yeah, I'm going to have to spend a whole year in the Mars Dune Alpha. Now, this is a specific 3D printed space. It's about 1,700 square feet, located in NASA's Johnson Space Center in beautiful Houston, Texas. The whole idea is that you're going to live in the kind of home that you would someday in Mars. Now, if you make the cut, I don't know, you only make money for the hours that you're awake. That doesn't seem right to me, but you're going to make $10 for every hour that you're awake inside the base. It works out to be $60,000 a year. Now, what's inside? You have 4 cozy rooms, they say, for privacy, a gym, 2 bathrooms, a chill out area, a medical care room, workstations, a treadmill, and even a brick-making machine. Yes, because you're going to have to make bricks on Mars, so you might as well get good at it right now. You know, in other news, scientists have finally figured out what happened to all the water that used to be on Mars. That's right, they figured out what happened to all the water that used to be on Mars. It turns out the planet was once occupied by Nestle. Oh, yeah, good one. I know. I heard you laugh. Hey, listen, I'm Kim Komando, America's digital goddess, here with you once again. It's the biggest show. It's the best show. It's the most trusted show about all things digital. And as I like to say, you're about ready to get more tech smarts because every single thing truly is now a tech thing. And you can find my award-winning show on over 420 top stations across the United States. And you can find us as a podcast, as a webcast, commercial-free, over at Komando.com. Just hit that button that says Komando Community. And you can also find the Kim Komando Show now commercial-free on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If you're on those platforms, just search for a Kim Komando Show. And a big hello and salute goes out to all of our friends and listeners on the American Forces Network Radio, serving over 375 U.S. service members in 175 different countries and 200 ships at sea. And our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254 is the way to join us. And I need 2 things. That's right, 2 things from each and every one of you. Number 1, the best way for us to continue to grow the show and the podcast is for you to tell one person. That's all. Just one person about the Kim Komando Show. That's all. And also, number 2, tell me what you want to hear more about. You can always drop me a note on the website over at Komando.com. Alrighty, every single day I visit at least 35 or more different websites and research sites to make sure that we're both up to date on what's going on in the tech universe. And here are the top 5 things you need to know right now. And we're starting with cyberattacks. Change Healthcare announced this past week they had a massive cyber attack on its systems. Now, what is Change Healthcare? I didn't really know what it was either. It's one of the largest healthcare tech companies in the U.S. TechCrunch says it handles 15 billion healthcare transactions a year, and 1 in 3 U.S. patient records are actually touched by this company. So let's just say it's a big outfit, all right? Pharmacies around the country are reporting difficulties processing prescriptions. Healthcare providers say, hey, we're having trouble getting to patient data. One Michigan pharmacy went on social media to say, we can receive your RX, but most insurance plans we cannot bill to your insurance company. So if you want to wait, that would be probably best for you. So if you're having any issues with your prescriptions, just know it's because of this massive cyber attack. Coming in at number 2, imagine waking up one morning to discover that your phone did not have a signal. What's going on? Well, you may have heard it happened to about 80,000 people this past week all over the country. Los Angeles, Philadelphia, Dallas, Chicago, to name a few, and also Atlanta. The people in the South seem to have been hit the hardest. It's a major outage that affected AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon customers nationwide. It left folks without any phone, any internet, any hotspots, you name it. So calls were flooded into 911 just to see if the call could go through. Now, here's the deal. Only 27% of homes in the U.S. actually have a landline. And this actually happens about the same time that AT&T says, oh, well, we're getting out of the landline business in California. Just wanted to let you know. So what could you do and what can you do in the future if this happens? Well, you can always use Wi-Fi to make a call. You can turn on data roaming, but that's going to cost you. And always remember, even without a carrier, it's required by law that any phone can dial 911. And don't forget, you can always text 911 too. Moving on to number 3, when we hear of satellites looking down on us, we think of the military, right? Or of the CIA or the Chinese or the Russians. But what about spy satellites that are so good that they can personally identify you in your backyard or if you're out for a run? And what if these satellites were suddenly placed in the hands of private businesses and not governments? Well, Albedo Space, based in Denver, manufactures these very low Earth orbiting satellites that can read license plates on your car. And its mission statement, to provide commercial and defense customers with on-demand, high-frequency coverage. That's right. So what is a commercial customer? Well, that could be a town, that could be a construction company, it could be maybe a small business owner next door to you. Now, suddenly what's going on in your backyard is available to anyone who wants to buy it, even if they are way, way far away. Okay, moving on to number 4, I bet that you used Amazon today. And before you say, oh, Kim Commando, I did not use Amazon today. Well, here are some examples of other companies that Amazon owns. PillPack, Zappos, One Medical, MGM Studios, Zappos. Let's see, we have Eero Ring, Fabric.com, Wondery, Solmo, WAG, Blink, and a whole bunch more. And if you're ever wondering about Amazon knowing too much about you in your life, we put together this whole list. This is just a fantastic list over at commando.com where you don't have to use all these Amazon products like Goodreads. And to join the Amazon family back in 2013, you can use StoryGraph instead. IMDb was one of Amazon's first acquisitions back in 1998. They bought it for $55 million. Well, now you can try TMBD. It's about the same. Again, we have a list posted over commando.com. But there's also Amazon Web Services. Like, for example, Airbnb, Netflix, McDonald's, Twitch, Kellogg's, Pfizer, Twitter, Nordstrom, Expedia, Ubisoft, a whole bunch of other companies use AWS as the backbone for their companies. So before you say, I didn't use Amazon today, I bet you that you did. And finally, this, coming in at number 5, what's the matter? You don't like gray? What's wrong with you? Tesla has now added 3 new Cybertruck color wraps costing up to $6,500 each. The colors, satin rose gold, slip gray, and satin abyss blue. Gosh, totally geeks of the weeks that name those. And at the same time that they're coming out, maybe just to cover up Cybertrucks, they say may have a rust issue. A lot of folks are complaining that the stuff all over their stainless steel car is rusting. By the way, so in case you're wondering how much a Cybertruck costs, the base model is around $61,000, but can go all the way up to $100,000. Now, Tesla's engineer, a guy by the name of Wes Morrell, he says that the Cybertrucks aren't really rusting. The steel is attracting surface contamination, and the surface contamination is what's rusting. See, so it's not really rusting, it's the surface contamination that's rusting. Oh, the irony. All right, how about we start with Karen in Lexington, Virginia?
Well, I am waiting on a very important piece of paper that has all of my identifying information on it that is somewhere in the U.S. Postal Service.
Oh, so what is that about?
Well, I spent about 2 years finishing an online graduate degree, and the very last thing I had to do to complete it was to mail them a piece of paper for my university to finish filling out and mail back to me. And it has my permanent address, my name, my date of birth, my social security number. It's something that needs to be turned into the state for my licensing.
Okay.
And it got to my university, and they turned it around, but it has not yet arrived back to me, and I am fearful that it is in someone's hands.
Boy, that's a lot of stuff there. Wow.
Yeah.
My God. I mean, so if somebody wants to be Karen in Virginia, hello, here we are. Okay.
I know. It's everything you need. And, just stressing out about what to do to protect myself as best I can. Hopefully it's still just lost somewhere in the system. Eventually they told me that, there's this mess going on in Richmond and it's going to take a while to get mail through, but
but we don't want to,
a month.
Yeah, we don't want to. Oh, a month. Yeah, we don't want to do that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. First step, freeze your credit. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
You need to contact each of the three major bureaus, Equifax, Experian, TransUnion. Just remember that if you ever want to apply for a credit card or mortgage, what have you, is that they'll have to lift the freeze, but that's so easy to do. I mean, you can do that now in an app, so if you are applying something, it's not like you need to call somebody and sit on hold, and those days are long gone. Thank gosh for the app. You also can put a fraud alert on your credit reports. What this means is that businesses will have to verify the identity before issuing credit. And that's also free. And so you want to do the credit freeze and the fraud alert. You also might want to take a look at annualcreditreport.com. That's where you can get a free credit report from each of the three major bureaus every year. So what you can do is get one from Equifax, and then another 3 months, get one from Experian. Another next 3 months, get it from TransUnion. Now, I will warn you though, Karen, you're so smart, I can tell. But when you're going through this annualcreditreport.com, they try to upsell you along the way.
Okay.
So they're going to say, well, what? Don't you need this? Don't you need that? You're like, no, I just want my free credit report. I just want my free credit report. You have to say it like 3 times and click your heels. Well, not click your heels, but, it's just that they're going to want. If you're really concerned, you could sign up for ID theft, protection. And but do keep all detailed records. But I think if you did the credit freeze and the credit fraud alerts, and then also, always monitor your accounts on all your credit cards if you haven't already done it already. I said already twice. That was good. If you haven't already done this, is set it up so that if transactions are happening on your credit cards and the card is not present, is that you get an automatic notification. You can also do that, say, if the amount is over $10 or $50 or whatever you feel comfortable with, that you'll get an automatic notification. Yeah, it's a great idea. I'll tell you, it's a little bit of a hassle because I have that set up. And every time I buy something on Amazon, I get a notification because it's like, okay,
Right.
It's like, all right, I buy everything on Amazon. So like the whole world, right? I mean, gosh, what did we do before Amazon? What did we do?
We waited. We had a lot more patience.
That's true. And you know what? That is true. That's a good point because I wanted to buy some shampoo the other day. And it was like 2 days. I can't get it tomorrow. I can't get it today. I mean,
I need it now.
Yeah, I'm taking a shower in 10 minutes. You should be able to get it here by that. So anyway, bottom line is, you know what to do. Do the credit freeze, fraud alert, and then get those credit reports every once in a while and set up those alerts as far as with your credit cards. And thanks for your call today. All right, let's see. Linda in Erie, Pennsylvania. Glad to have you with us.
Hey, I love your newsletters and your podcasts. And recently you wrote and talked about radiation when using cell phones. You had mentioned possibly using earbuds that would be a better route when you're talking on your phone. Mm-hmm. And I just wondered, is there any radiation when using your earbuds?
Much like a phone, which we don't want to do, we don't want to put it up to our heads. We don't want to put it in our pockets if it's, if you're a guy. I was actually hiking not too long ago and I saw a gal with her iPhone in her sports bra. And I looked at her and I said, you don't know me from Adam, but if I were you, I would never put my phone in my sports bra because, because of the potential radiation. Now, if anybody who looks at a report says, yes, there is ionizing radiation, which is like X-rays. And then there are also people who say, you know what, no, it's not. So for every case where there is one, there's always a case that's opposite that says that there is no problem with using it. But I think with earbuds, if we look at guidelines, is that they said that the radiation levels admitted are well below the limits that are safe. But the scientific research is what? Ongoing, right? We don't have any long-term effects of low-level RF radiation on human health. So what I would do is, of course, if you can use wired headphones, that will eliminate all the RF radiation exposure. Especially, if you have any type of DNA mutations in your family, this is really serious stuff. Because again, we just don't know. You want to limit continuous use of wireless earbuds because, and take breaks to reduce the exposure. They say that, Bluetooth technology, it is a low power. The SAR, which is short for the specific absorption rate, which measures the rate at which the body absorbs this RF energy, is considerably lower for Bluetooth devices. Mm-hmm. That said, if you can use wired headphones, then if you're concerned about it, especially if you have any type of, issues in your family, that it really is something that you really need to take seriously. But, you do have to understand, this is a different type of radiation. Radio frequency radiation, that RF that I mentioned, is a non-ionizing electromagnetic radiation, which is not ionizing radiation, which is X-rays. So just, kind of keep that in mind. Is it going to kill you overnight? No. But we still want to make sure moderation is key. Like we say, moderation is key in having a vodka martini. So just kind of keep that in mind. And Linda, thanks for your kind words about the newsletters, folks. If you're not already getting the newsletter, make sure that you sign up right now over at getkim.com. Once again, that's getkim.com. Every day, give me 5 minutes and you will be tech smart. That's right. And I'm going to make you laugh along the way. Trust me, you are going to laugh along the way, at least once or twice. It's fun to read. I had somebody send me a note recently, said, you said it would be fun to read, and it's actually fun to read. You can sign up right now over at getkim.com. Yeah, there's always so many issues with tech, right? Hey, listen, if you have a whole bunch of songs that you want to store for free in the cloud, let me tell you, you can do this with YouTube Music. So if you don't already have a YouTube account, you make one, and then you're going to upload your music. Now, there's an important gotcha that you need to know about. Uploading music only works when you're using your desktop or your laptop computer. You can't do it from your phone or your tablet. And then after all your music is uploaded, say from those music tapes or the vinyl records or whatever it may be, is that you can make playlists and get fancy with your own music by using the YouTube Music app on your device. I mean, here's the deal. You can store up to 100,000 songs for free right there on YouTube Music. Good stuff. Let me just pass along a great tip. Let's say you get a text message and for whatever the reason, you don't want the person who sent it to know that you read it. Well, you've got a couple of options. Number one, when a message comes in, turn on notifications. So this way you see everything on your screen or just enough to know what it's about without actually opening it. Number two, you can go into stealth mode. When you get a text, here's what you do. Immediately put your phone in airplane mode, then turn off Wi-Fi. This totally cuts off the internet. So you can still look at the message, but there's no way for a read receipt to be sent. Now, you can avoid the situation altogether by turning the read receipts off. How do you do that? On your iPhone, head into Settings, Messages, and toggle off Read Receipts. Android, we love you too. Open Messages, and then you got to go to Settings, and then Chat or Advanced, and then that's where you disable your Read Receipts. And here's the deal with Android. There's always 8 ways to do it because there are so many different versions of Android out there. It's just, crazy. All right, let me tell you about Kim Komando today. Every single day at 10:30 a.m. Pacific time, 1:30 p.m. on the East Coast, is that we have been doing a brand new video podcast that's also available as an audio podcast too, wherever you get your pods. And over the President's Day weekend, something happened to me that I thought I would never, ever talk about. I mean, I didn't think it would be me. My home was targeted by a gang in the United States on an expired vacation visa, along with my neighborhood too. And let me tell you, the most excellent Phoenix police SWAT team showed up at my house. And on Kim Komando today this past week, I told Andrew the story. Okay, so Friday night, we're just sitting there, just having dinner. And all of a sudden, I start hearing very loud helicopters. And I'm like, do you hear that? And Barry's like, yeah, what is that? And then all of a sudden we see searchlights going over our house. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is really something. So we look out and we see the whole subdivision, a dozen cop cars.
Oh, that fast.
And so I go out on the patio and I say to a cop who I see far away, I say, hey, what's going on? And he says, get in the house. Get in the house. I said, what's happening? So he said that it's the gang from Chile that's in your neighborhood right now. So as it turns out, they had targeted our street. And they were not targeting our house. They were targeting the house next door where nobody was. But they had actually gotten a house about 3 doors down from us. And they're using cell phone jammers and Wi-Fi jammers. So the guy down the street, he left to go to dinner at 5 o'clock. At 5:05, he's sitting, I don't know, some restaurant nearby, obviously. And he gets a notification that his cameras are offline.
But that's why they're using the jammers.
Exactly. But he thinks like, oh, the internet went down.
Sure.
He comes home. And he finds out that they took $25,000 worth of cash that he had in his master bedroom, jewelry, art, worth about $100,000. Okay, so now I didn't know that happened. So all of a sudden I'm standing there and the SWAT team surrounded the entire house. They walked all around the property, stood there, waited until, it seemed like everything had happened. So we are inside the house and all this is going on. But we can see through the glass to see where all the cops are and everything.
Right.
So as I mentioned, they wanted the house next door to us. When they figured out that they weren't home, they dropped the cell phone jammers and the Wi-Fi jammers on our borderline property. In the cul-de-sac right by our house was the getaway car. And it was a woman who was driving, and she was in a minivan with 5 guys. So after they robbed a couple of houses, is that they jumped in the minivan and they went racing down the street, and she ran into an unmarked police car.
So did they catch anybody?
They did. They caught the woman when she crashed into the unmarked police car. They arrested her and they arrested 2 guys, but I think there's still 3 at large right now.
And did the cops know that they were about to hit this neighborhood, or was it like I said, it was just dumb luck a cop was sitting there?
No, they knew they were going to hit this neighborhood.
They knew, okay.
I mean, it was too much of a orchestrated lockdown. Exactly. Now here's the other interesting part. Okay, so this happened on Friday. So on Monday, I go for my walk. And when I go on a walk, it's always a good time for me to talk to Ian. And so this is a walk that I've gone on several times with him. And so I got probably, I don't know, maybe 2 houses away from our house. I lost the cell phone signal. And then I go a couple of feet and then I get it back. They must have left jammers all throughout this neighborhood because normally I would never lose him at once on this walk.
Right.
Okay. But I lost him, I counted 9 times. 9 times on this walk.
We should go find them.
I know. That's what I'm thinking. We should.
Get on some phones, walk until they drop, and then start looking around.
Well, they could be very small. The small ones, the batteries last a couple of days.
So they're probably going to be dead
right
pretty
now.
soon. Yeah.
And then the bigger ones, the batteries are about the size of a lunchbox, and they can last for 5 days, maybe even longer. So what do you do?
What do you do?
Okay, because if they jam your Wi-Fi, okay, then your Ring doorbell, your security system, everything doesn't work.
But you get the alert, but like your neighbor said, I just figured, the internet's out. I'm fine.
So the whole idea is that after they cased the neighbor's house to the left of us, and then they cased our house, is that they went up the street.
This Wi-Fi jam, I'm trying to think. The only way would be to have all your cameras hardwired.
Exactly.
That's so nuts, Kim.
It is. It's very crazy. It's like, that you just kind of feel like a sitting duck out there.
Absolutely. Because everybody else was. And you never think while you're sitting there eating your chicken and broccoli that in 15 minutes we're going to be interrupted by 22 SWAT members.
Okay, and then there were also helicopters overhead saying, if we spot you, you're arrested, saying it in English and Spanish. There were drones. They probably had 4 or 5 drones.
Smart.
All around. Did
they ever see anyone on camera on your property?
They thought they did.
They thought they did, okay.
And the dog smelt somebody. That's what he told me.
Okay.
But because of the fence, they probably weren't able to get over the fence. So they hit the fence, but there was a jammer that they left by the fence.
On your property?
Yes.
You saw it?
Yes.
Crazy.
Right.
Yeah. How smart, though. I mean, what a use of technology for nefarious reasons.
I know. This is organized crime.
Absolutely. And they're going wild. I mean, I first heard about it last week on Wednesday. Beth, I work with, her neighborhood got hit multiple houses.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then the word got around that they're using the wash. So they're coming down the wash from the golf course because she lives in a gated community. So you can't have a getaway car. And that's how they're getting in and out of the neighborhood, is using the wash that hits the golf course, and they have a car parked on the golf course.
Well, big kudos to the city of Phoenix Police Department, because let me tell you, this is the first police department in the entire country who has arrested anybody. I mean,
That's impressive.
it is very impressive.
The fact they knew where they were going to hit has got to scare these guys. That they knew they were going to be there. So that means they have someone on the inside. They have some way of getting this information that they knew this was going to be the neighborhood.
No, and I tell you, every cop, such a gentleman. And, because as after they arrested, they still hung out.
Right.
Just to make sure, to see if anything else was still going on.
How are you feeling now?
Violated.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And, we have the alarm on all the time.
Sure.
Okay. And always to make sure, we didn't go out to dinner at all. It's like, why would we go out to dinner? Because we're just going to be sitting here. We're like just telling them, just come on in.
Right. But you just got to leave. You got to do like a scene from Home Alone where you have, you put one of those stand-up models on a train track. It's like, the teenage. So it just looks like you're home at all times.
So
Kim and Barrett leave their house for a month, so they need people to come over and entertain them.
It is for sure.
That's crazy.
I'm already arranging house sitters. So police arrested in my neighborhood Sue Ellen Guterres Saez, she's 20 years old, Johan Salvo Alcacan, 21 years old, Manuel Eduardo Fuentes Gomez, and he's 25 years old. Turns out that the police have been investigating burglaries conducted by South American visitors who travel to the United States to burglarize homes in pricey neighborhoods. Now, these suspects across the country are linked to this sophisticated syndicate based 6,000 miles away in Santiago, Chile. So let me tell you, it is disheartening. It's very frightening. And if you want to listen to the entire story, if you want to actually see the videos, is wherever you get your video streams, whether it's on Facebook, Rumble, YouTube, X, wherever it is, just go to @KimCommando and look for the video that's entitled "The SWAT Team Comes to My House," and then you can see the videos behind it because it was a little nerve-wracking to say the least. All right, there are 6 main varieties of text spam spreading the country right now. Number 1, Amazon text. It's going to be a fake Amazon delivery notification. Click the link in the text. It's going to take you to a phishing site. Number 2, USPS and FedEx text, pretty much the same deal. Cash App text. They claim that you're going to have a peer-to-peer payment made to you. And you're like, oh, this is great. I got some money. Nope. Netflix. There's a problem with your account. It's phony. Adult entertainment text. They said that maybe you went to this site and they need some more information, or why did you go to that site? Yeah. Click it and you're taken. Also payment card text messages where they say you're behind on your payment. Click here to make sure that you're good with it. Do not click on any of them. All right, Tim in Miramar Beach, Florida.
Hello, Kim. I am really in awe just talking to you. You seem to know so much about everything. I don't know when you have time to do other things other than just read and research.
That would be about it. Okay.
So I'm going to try to test you here with a question that I haven't heard asked before.
Okay.
I live in a gated neighborhood, and our HOA gets very uptight if we leave the garage door open overnight. And I know I shouldn't do that. Now, during the day, the garage door is sometimes open, it's sometimes closed, and I always check it at night before I go to bed. However, I don't always check it at night before I go to bed, and so I've been getting some complaints. I was trying to figure out a way, to notify me when the garage door is open at bedtime. And the only thing that I could come up with is if I could find some sensor or something that tells me the garage door is open and have that connected to a light in my bedroom so I wouldn't be able to go to bed with the garage door open. I've tried every other reminder system I know, and I can't figure it out.
You're so funny. Well, with your garage door, there's something called Chamberlain MyQ. I actually have that on our garage doors. And It's a smart garage door system. And you can set it up so that the garage door closes automatically on a schedule. Okay. You can set it up that it could work with a light, as you mentioned, in your bedroom. And so if the garage door is open and if it's after 9 p.m., the light's going to turn on And then some voice is going to come out and say, "Come on, Tim, what are you doing? You know better than this. Unless you want somebody in bed with you with a gun, I don't think you would want that. So we need to be smarter." Right?
Oh, my. Yes.
So,
better than a letter from the HOA.
HOAs can be so annoying. It can be so annoying. I mean, I remember once, I'll tell you a story. Once my mom was living with me, and I had the next door neighbor from hell. Okay. She was not nice. She was not a good person. She just wasn't a happy person. And so it wasn't the garage door. It was the garbage can. So if I left the garbage can out, is that I would get a $25 fine. Okay. And so my mother and I are getting ready to leave the house. I open the garage door and I see my garbage can staring at me in the street, right? And I look over and I see my neighbor by her front door just glaring at me, thinking is she going to put the garage door? I mean, is she going to put the can away or not? Am I going to report her or not? I mean, she was just, I could tell that was going on in her head. So I looked at my mom and my mom's like, "Come on, we got to go, hurry up." And I said, "Wait, Mom." And I said this really loudly so my neighbor could hear me. I said, "Wait, Mom, before we can leave, I better put my garbage can away or else my friendly neighbor is going to turn me into the HOA police and I'm going to get a $25 fine." Okay. And then my mother says to me, and my mother walks out in the driveway and she's pointing her finger at my face. That's when you know it's serious. She's pointing her finger at my face. And she says, "Just because she's an a-hole doesn't mean you can't be a good Christian." And I laughed like crazy. I thought that was the funniest line.
That is funny.
So anyway, you're going to get the Chamberlain Smart Q garage door. Smart garage door. And you're going to hook that up, piece of cake. You're going to, if you want a light, Philips Hue, which has the most range. Then you're going to set it up. You can set it up to have the garage door sensor talk to the smart light in using Amazon Alexa, Samsung Smart Things. And so, and then this automation. There's also something called IFTTT. IFTTT. Just write that down. IFTTT. And that's where you can create a little set of instructions that will connect the garage door sensor to the open state. It'll turn on the smart light. Then that tells you to get your butt up and go close the garage door. Or, like I said, you can just use this whole Chamberlain thing to just put it on a schedule, and then you don't have to worry about anything. So does that help you out?
That sounds great. Thanks.
All right. You can sound a little bit more enthusiastic, Tim.
That sounds super.
Excellent. See, I knew you had it in you. You're like, "Oh, wow, thanks, Kim." I'm like, come on. I mean, this is great stuff here. This is pretty awesome. I mean, where else are you going to go for all this fun stuff? Tim, thank you for your call today. Yep, there's a tech fix for everything. All right. So Debbie Montgomery Johnson, she's the gal who lost $1 million in a romance scam. She's an Air Force vet, successful banker, but when her husband passed away, she was lonely. She was vulnerable. And then that's when she met her scammer. He pretended to be a widower like her, gained her trust. Then he started asking for money. She gave it to him over 2 years. So if you're chatting with someone right now and these signs are ticking off, I want you to be careful. It's probably a scam. Number one, they avoid video calls. They don't want anything to do with that. Number two, they start asking for money, especially through wire transfers or gift cards. And three, they claim to be in another country. So don't let your emotions cloud your judgment, even if you think it's true love. Hey, just a reminder, you can join over 500,000 folks to get my free newsletter at getkim.com. If you own a home, listen up. This is scary. The FBI is warning about a crime on the rise. home title theft. And it doesn't happen the way you might think. No break-ins, no stolen keys, just a forged signature on a single piece of paper filed with the county. In minutes, criminals can transfer the title out of your name, then use your ownership to drain your equity or even sell your home. The worst part, most people don't know what's happening until they get collection or foreclosure notices in the mail. That's why I trust Home Title Lock. When you visit HometitleLock.com/Kim, you'll get a free title history report and a 14-day free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection, including 24/7 monitoring of your home's title, urgent alerts to changes, and if fraud does happen. Their U.S.-based restoration team will work to restore your title, covering costs up to $1 million. Don't wait. Protect your home and equity today. Get your free 14-day trial at HometitleLock.com/Kim. That's HometitleLock.com/Kim.
Thanks for listening to The Kim Komando Show. Here's hour 2.
So I read this story about this guy on Reddit, and he's sitting there saying, something's going on with my computer. His max GPU temps, it just keeps rising, going higher and higher and higher. He's like, he does all the hardware tests, and he still can't figure out what's going on. So he cracks open the computer's case, and what does he find? Fire ants all over the inside of his computer. As it turns out, fire ants, they love to eat certain things like thermal paste and pads. So it infested all inside his electronics. So here's the deal. If you haven't already checked inside your computer, if you're ever having any issues with it for, say, bugs and dust or anything like that, you want to do that, say, once every 6 months, once a year. You want to be persistent. Oh, yeah, good one. I'm Kim Komando, America's digital goddess, here with you once again. It's the biggest show. It's the best show. It's the most trusted show about all things digital. And you're about ready to get more tech smarts because every single thing is now a tech thing. And you can find my show on over 420 top stations across the United States. You can also get us as a podcast, as a webcast over inside the Komando community at komando.com. And if you're on Apple or Spotify, you can get the Kim Komando Show commercial free. Just search for Kim Komando Show and not Kim Komando Today. That's Kim Komando Show. And a special shout out goes out to all of our listeners on the American Forces Network Radio, in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, the Coast Guard, and the Space Force in 175 different countries and every ship at sea. I love that. And our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254 is the way to join us. And I need 2 things. That's right, 2 things from each and every one of you. Number 1, just tell one person. That's all. Tell one person about the show because that'll help us to continue to grow and actually make the world a better and safer tech place, right? And number 2, if there's anything that you need a hand with or you want to hear more about, head over to komando.com and drop me a note. And there's a link that says email Kim. All righty, you know the drill. Every day, I go to so many different websites, like 35, 40 different websites to make sure that everything that we talk about here on the show, in our newsletters, on the website, and in the podcast is just the most important things that I want to pass along to you. And here are the top 5 things that are happening with tech right now. We're going to talk about Google search. I don't know if you've noticed, but Google search results have gone into the crapper. They have. It used to be, when you think back 3, 4, 5 years ago, you do a Google search and you'd be like, hey, this is exactly what I'm looking for. And now you're like, those snippets that they leave at the top, not really relevant. They're old. I don't really see the links that I need. And so I kind of scroll down a little bit. Well, today's cyber criminals are actually using tools like ChatGPT to create insane amounts of content. And their goal is to snag your money, right? Well, Google's algorithms haven't caught up. And so I need to warn you about these bogus content that you may be running into at the top of your search results. Like, for example, the cooks are creating fake personas to make them look like authority figures online. What I want you to do is do a reverse image search on their profile pic and do a little digging. They may be just 100% bogus. Sketchy ads. Sometimes you have to take a while to scroll down to see past all the ads to get to the real content. And always look at the sponsored ads. Google doesn't vet any of these links. They just sell the ads. So again, you got to be really, really careful. Moving on to number 2, wow, 60% of OpenAI models' responses contain plagiarism. That's huge. 60% is plagiarized. That's according to a study by CopyLeaks. They say that the model is just showing plagiarism time and time again. So the bottom line here is that if you need AI to write anything for you, you better make sure that you change it into your own words, which brings us to number 3 on our list of 5 things. Maybe you're using Grammarly at work, at school, or more. The most basic option is free, and it helps to point out basic problems in your work, maybe rephrase some sentences, some spelling mistakes that you made. Well, the reason why I'm bringing this up, at the University of Georgia, a junior there by the name of Marley Stevens says she's been put on academic probation for having used Grammarly to proofread her paper for a criminal justice class. She submitted her paper through a program called Turnitin, which then flagged it as AI. When she received the score back for her assignment, she got a big fat 0. The professor reported her to the Office of Student Integrity. So tell your college kiddos about this. I did mine, that if they're going to be using Grammarly or anything like that, make sure that they also do the plagiarism checker on Grammarly. It's right there at the bottom, and you may have to pay for that, but it's definitely worth it. Moving on to number 4, a whole slew of Apple updates. They have a brand new sports app. Nope, not called iSports. It's just called Apple Sports. And that's where you get the MLB, NFL, NCAA, WNBA, MLS, NBA, NCAA, NHL, all your sports right there in a new app. Just download it for free from the Apple App Store. They also say, number 2, that the bag of rice just doesn't work anymore. And Apple does not want you to put your wet phone into a bag of rice. They have some other things that they want you to do. Instead, it's like, number 1, turn it off immediately, let it dry out all by itself, take off the case, take out the SIM cards, and do not turn it on for a full 24 hours. And if you have an Apple Watch, the brand new ones just lost the oxygen sensor tech while Apple is battling a lawsuit. A small company says that Apple stole its tech. Now, if you have a Series 9 watch that has the O2 sensor built in and you're not using that watch, now's a good time to sell it because prices have gone up because of that. And then Apple just did something very strange, is that they doubled the battery life for iPhone 15s to 1,000 cycles with a free update. Wow, what does that mean? Your battery's going to stay fresher longer. So why did they do this? You're smart. I know you're smart. I'm sure there's some lawsuit pending about that. And finally, this coming in at number 5. Do men or women have bigger brains? Stanford University has developed some AI that say, we're going to take a closer look at this. They're actually calling it the Dynamic Functional Connectivity, fMRI. Sounds really big. They looked at data from about 1,000 young adults, and the result is AI could tell you which brain was male or female about 90% of the time. So the bottom line, men have slightly bigger brains just because that they are bigger in size. Don't be thinking like, told you, honey, I got a bigger brain, so I'm smarter. Okay, doesn't mean that it's filled with anything extra. Speaking of brains, it always marvels me that jellyfish have survived for 650 million years despite not having brains. Gives me hope for humanity. All right, how about we start with Ward in Brooklyn, New York. Hello there, Ward.
So I had an issue with Airbnb quite a few years ago, back in 2019, when I used to be a host. And I was, I was a super host, top, kind of 1% kind of issue. And at that particular time, my mum had a major stroke. And I had to jump down to Australia, which is where she lives.
Sure.
And during that time, there was a guest who stayed there. She had 0 reviews. She booked last minute, and she made a complaint about the co-host who was in the apartment at that time. And basically, we got myself, my co-host, and a couple of other people who were associated with the co-host got banned from the platform.
What did she say the co-host did?
So she said that the co-host made advances on her. And the co-host actually mentioned a few days before anything happened that she brought in a drug dealer and that she was a little bit sketchy, I guess is the best word to use.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. But, I kind of mentioned my side of the story to Airbnb. They said everything would be okay with me. And then fast forward a week, I was, banned off the platform with sort of no ability to get back on.
Okay. And then did Airbnb review the case? And how many times did they do that?
They didn't really review the case, to be honest. I said my side of the story. I was like, look, I'm with my mum right now. I'm in Australia. I've never met this particular person who's come in. I've never even spoken to her. I don't really know what the issue is. And they said, you should be totally fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong. The issue was brought up with the co-host. And the co-host was quite upset. He was like, I did absolutely nothing. I swear. But, you know, obviously in a situation like this, I understand the severity of it. But yeah, it's been quite a few years now, and I just wanted to see if there might be a way I could get reactivated.
So you're saying that they did not review the case, or did you, how many times did you ask them to review the case? It was just one time. Sometimes it takes two or three.
So they gave me, you know, I spoke to them over the phone. They asked me my side of the story, and I told them to. I told it to them, and then they shut down the account, and there hasn't been an opportunity to speak with them again. Okay.
So when I'm just trying to understand, I don't mean to ask you the same question two or three times. But so there hasn't been the opportunity to do it again. Is that from you, or
no?
Or you've tried and they're being unresponsive?
I've tried and they're being unresponsive.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Here's what I would do. Okay. Of course, you can always go legal, right? Mm-hmm. Somebody who has experience with Airbnb or similar hosting platforms. I would be inclined to write the whole incident up and say, you know, I realize this is almost 5 years ago now, right? Because we're at 2024, this is 2019. But I still would like to come back and be a host for Airbnb. And as you can see, I was the super host, the 1%. I was a super host for Airbnb for a while too, before I sold the property. And, you know, they take the super host seriously because it's the old 80-20 rule, right?
Yeah.
And so I would stress that with them. And apparently there was a miscommunication. And somehow this incident happened. Obviously, you should, if it did happen, be taken seriously. But does she have any evidence, written, recording, photo evidence that this occurred, that she submitted? And then document your travel to Australia, the reason for your mom, you know, your positive reviews, your history with Airbnb, you know, highlighting your track record. And if you can, put it in writing to them. This is how much money you have lost since then. Airbnb has lost. Not just you've lost money, but how much money have they lost? Okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's unfortunate that it's this long of a time period.
Yes, yeah.
And that's going to play against you. So I would write all this up, and you have contacts at Airbnb. You just have to find them. And I would try to find who's ever in charge of Superhosts, and I would try to find that person on LinkedIn.com. Send them a direct message and just say, listen, I have an incident. Who can I forward it to? And can I forward it? Can I forward it to you? I wouldn't put everything in a LinkedIn message and be like, oh my God, make this guy go away, right? So, but who can I send? Who can I address this to? You may be able to figure out on Airbnb the platform, meaning that is it first dot last name at Airbnb, whatever it may be. You know, how they do their email addresses. So,
yeah, of course.
So if you can figure that out, then you have carte blanche, because then you can say, I'm going to send it to this person, this person, this person, this person, whoever it may be. You know, and one of the things that I have found over the years when I'm trying to resolve issues like this is, of course, time is of the essence, number one. But number two is that if you can go to Airbnb's PR page or about Airbnb, and then you're going to see there a statement from the chairman of board, the founder, whoever it may be, to say these are our standards, and then put that in the first sentence. You said this. I'm not feeling it. This is not my experience that I'm having with Airbnb. And there's a loophole in the system, a glitch in the system, and I'm being victim to this. And let me tell you what happened. very rarely will they not do a response to that. Now, if you don't get a response, that's when you can take it to social media, and you may get a fast response by going to Airbnb's Twitter handle, whatever. Reddit is always a great place to post these type of stories too, because people read Reddit, they comment, and it gets to the top of the search results. So you got a couple of ways to do it: social media, direct email, spell out your case, and let us know what happens. Let us know what happened. But, the big thing is what type of evidence that they have that proved it other than hearsay. Now, I'm not a lawyer. I can't give you legal advice. That disclaimer said is that you might have to get a lawyer if you totally want to get on that platform, or you go over to Verbo or Booking.com. Ward, thanks for your call today. Just a little PSA for everybody. I mean, 5 years is a long time. If you are trying to fix something of yours on Airbnb, Verbo, wherever it is online, try to do it within the first 90 days. Gosh, 5 years. Crazy stuff. All right, let me pass along a great tip about removing location data before you're sharing photos with strangers. I mean, there's probably one thing that you didn't know is that location tracking actually extends to your photos. So when you take a photo, the phone will store something called metadata. And the metadata might include the date it was taken, the camera settings used, and the location where you were when you took that photo. And then when you share that image, anyone can have access to that data, even a stranger on the internet. So what you want to do is to stop location sharing on your iPhone, open the image that you want to share, then go to options and toggle off location. Now, if you're on Team Android, don't worry, you can do the same thing real easily. Just open your gallery, select photos, then go to details, and then click on remove location data. If you need those exact steps, we got them all for you over at commando.com. Let's talk about batteries, for example. Lithium ion, the nickel cadmium type batteries, they power up of what? Of course, our phones, our laptops, our tablets, smart toys, power tools. I mean, it's in everything nowadays. But here's the thing. You just can't toss those into the trash or the recycle bin. You have to take them to a hazardous waste collection center. Also, your television, if you have an old one, it's packed with glass and lead and potentially hazardous materials. It's not meant for the landfill. And let's not forget those old glass thermometers. You remember those? You might have one of those laying around still. It contains mercury. Yeah, can't throw that in the trash either. Every single day, Monday through Friday at 10:30 a.m. Pacific time, which is 1:30 p.m. on the East Coast, is that we rolled out a brand new product. It's a video podcast called Kim Commando Today. And of course, if you want the audio version, you can just get Kim Commando Today in your favorite podcast player. But in case you want to check out the video, we're on Rumble, X, Facebook, YouTube. Again, that's 10:30 a.m. Pacific time, 1:30 p.m. on the East Coast. But, you don't want to have to catch it live because maybe you're busy or you're working. You can always catch it on demand. So we interview some really interesting people a few times a week. And gosh, this gal really came up with a smart business idea. Her name is Madeline, and she's famous for helping women find out if their partners are cheating, all through social media. She gets about 1,000 requests a week from people asking for help. Plus, she has a ton of followers. Andrew and I had a great conversation with her all about this. Here, take a listen. How did you come up with this idea?
Well, that is actually my most commonly asked question, and it's something that just kind of fell into place. What happened was years ago, I had helped some friends with some intense legal battles and custody battles. I've testified in court cases. And then my fiance was like, you know what? You've been doing all of these things for women. So why don't you put it out on TikTok in the form of a loyalty test and see what happens? I'm like, no one's going to care.
And so what happens? How do you do this?
So essentially what happens is when a woman reaches out to me, I try to get a feel for exactly what kind of red flag she's seeing. If, it's just purely intuition, if she is, if the guy has a history of being secretive, and that answer is almost always yes. And just based off of his personality, his profile, things like that, then I will approach them in the way that I think will work the best. Talk to them, see if they're willing to deny that they're in a relationship, or maybe they don't care. Some guys are like, I'm married, but they're still down to meet up. And then I send the screenshots to the girl, block the guy, have a very long block list.
I bet
you do.
Yeah. And that's essentially it in a very small nutshell, because there's, of course, a lot of emotions that go into it. There's a lot of nuance. It's not always that straightforward. There's a lot of women whose lives I get invested in, who have become good friends, that it
wow,
hurts my heart for them. So
what are some signs that a guy's cheating?
Well, in the digital age of just our whole life is digital, which is wonderful because it obviously gives us so many different capabilities, and we're able to connect with people in a way we never have before. But then that also opens the door for a lot of secrecy. So I always say the number one thing to look for is secrecy with their phone. And I talk to a surprising amount of women who have been married for 10 years and aren't allowed to touch his phone.
No.
And that's
really
wild. Oh, it's so common. Yeah. I'm not talking about like, hey, you've been dating for 3 months, you should have full access. That's different. So, I say these things and there's rules to them. There's guidelines, meaning like, you can't have full access to someone's phone when you first start dating. That's not fair, but yeah, if you're married and you're not allowed to touch their phone,
there's
you don't
something
even know
wrong.
Their passcode. There's something weird going on.
I know a couple, they've been married for, I want to say like 20 years, and he won't allow her to put on Find My Friends, which
is that a red flag?
Oh, yeah.
I think that, yeah. I mean, I didn't want to say anything to her, but I was like, if you can't look at your phone and know exactly where he is at any given moment.
I've only been dating my girlfriend for a year and a half, and we both track each other's phones.
Yeah.
And that's not even a marriage.
Right. Exactly. Those who have nothing to hide nothing. So,
like I said, I'm very loyal. I have nothing to hide. There's no reason. You get an email from Jennifer Cole, just delete it.
Just say.
We'll just have to really pull out the big guns for that one.
What does it cost to have a loyalty test?
So I have different prices based off of how much effort it is. Sometimes girls want me to build a relationship for like a couple of months.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Or talk to him on the phone or FaceTime and, all of that. So
your eyes. You're like, oh my God.
So if you just want me to reach out and see how it goes, it's $45.
Okay.
But then of course, because we are pretty slammed with requests, then, if you want an expedite fee or kind of like a VIP fee where you have like my number and things like that, because I can't obviously make myself available to everyone all the time, then that will fluctuate. So
that's not bad.
Have you ever run into somebody like you're like, oh, I know this guy?
Oh, yes.
Really?
I have. Well, I didn't run into him so much as I loyalty tested him a couple of years ago and ended up working on a project with his wife. She's local to California, and we, do some business together. And I went to one of her opening events, and he was there, and he kept looking at me, really confused, and I just gaslit him,
So have you ever had a woman say like, oh, you have him all wrong. He would never do that.
Yes, I have. It's really interesting, the psychology that goes behind that, because I've had women reach out and say, I know for a fact that my husband will pass. I know it. But here, will you just do it for fun? And I'm like, well, okay, so you're going to spend your money on confirming something that you seem to know, and then they end up failing. And then it's like, big blow.
Well, but if you're going to do that, you have to have some inkling. You have to have some sign, right? That
totally agree.
That something's wrong.
What profession have you had to do a test on of a famous person?
Ooh, good question.
The NBA.
Okay.
MLB, UFC.
Oh, athletes.
Athletes.
See, there's your idols right there, Andrew.
They're not my idols. I mean, I like betting on them, but otherwise, I know they're awful people. Some of them.
Well, yeah, they can be idols for different reasons. You don't have to envy their integrity or lack thereof.
Okay, so one last question.
Sure.
And you can just give us a ballpark. How much money are you making?
Well, it wasn't full time. until more recently, but I don't know, a couple extra $1,000 a month is what it started out to, and now it's kind of we're
Boom.
gonna see where it blossoms.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So
I think,
yeah.
you know what? I love entrepreneurs. I do. So her TikTok handle is at Madeline the Real, at Madeline the Real. As I mentioned, she does these loyalty checks every single week, about 1,000 of them. Here's the deal. She said 8 out of 10 guys totally flunked the test. Oh my gosh. Just a quick reminder, you can watch the video over at YouTube and Facebook and Rumble and X, or wherever you get your videos, at Kim Commando. And don't forget, you can also get it as a podcast, an audio cast. So wherever you get your podcast, just search for Kim Commando today. All right. How about some tech life upgrades you may see on social media that aren't necessarily the best ones, but they're getting shared like by millions and millions because everybody thinks they're great? I've got some better ones. Like, for example, you might be tempted to change your TV's picture to game for sports, but the best setting for football for those games, cinema or movie. Sports mode generally is too bright. It might make the game look washed out. Hey, before you accept the terms and conditions in an app, what you want to do is hit Control F on your keyboard on Windows, Command F on a Mac, and you want to search those terms and conditions for some key phrases like sell, partners, affiliates, right? Hey, if you're planning for your summer vacation, campsites are already getting booked up. So that's where you want to go to a website called Camp Flare. It scans bookings at national parks, state parks, national forests every 45 seconds. Wow. It's called Camp Flare. What happens if you get an unknown phone call? What should you do? Type that phone number into Google, Bing, or Yahoo in quotation marks for a precise match so you can see where that phone number came from. And if you say, I've been meaning to reply with an email, what you want to do is mark it as unread, because this will make it easier for you to find it later. And finally, this, if you're using ChatGPT or Gemini to write something for you, give it clear instructions, like be a marketing expert, be a tech expert, whatever it may be, and you'll find some better results from those prompts. And if you want more of these, we have them all posted at commando.com. All right, Larry in Syracuse, New York. Hi there, Larry.
I have a modem router combination unit. It's a Netgear model. It's 2016 is when I bought it 8 years ago.
Ooh.
And I know right. I know I should be replacing it with something. And last year I actually I'd read some articles about using a combo unit versus a separate modem, a separate router. And I went that route, and I bought a modem and I bought a router, both highly rated. Got them working, got them up and running, and then I could not get a signal to stay stable for more than a couple of days.
Oh, that's so frustrating. Did you
would happen?
Did you call the provider?
My ISP?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, I didn't. No, I've never had any problems with them. And the setup was so simple, and I was able to get it running right away, that I thought I'm in the clear. And it ran well for a few days, and then, spotty. I would lose the signal, the stability. I'd lose my connection to YouTube or to one of my devices. I've probably got 11 devices around the house, a couple of computers, a couple of tablets, a couple of phones, and I would just randomly lose things. And my goal was to get it back and running as fast as possible. So I would go in and power them both down, power them both back up. I know I wasn't in debugging mode, so I didn't know which one was really causing the problem. Sure. So I just did them both. And I got tired of doing that after a couple of months, and I got rid of them, put the old Netgear back in place, and it's been running great ever since. And I really hate to shake the apple cart, but I know it's an old machine, and it's probably, I'm not getting updates for more upgrades anymore on it. So I'm just asking for trouble.
So you got rid of the one the standalone modem and router that you purchased?
I did. I gave one away to a family member and sold the other one on eBay.
Okay.
Yeah,
because the reason why I ask you if you called your ISP is sometimes there's something called DOCSIS. It's a modem technology that I don't know what you bought, but maybe it wasn't doing a good handshake with your ISP, and sometimes they can come back down the line and do a little troubleshooting with you and say either A, this one is never going to work, or B, why don't you try these type of settings? And so if that ever happens again, just, I know it's a hassle to call them, but sometimes you get like somebody who's really good on the line. And then you're like, oh, okay, just let me walk you through all this. The reason why you need to replace it is because, like you said, it's, hopefully you don't have underwear older than 2016.
No.
Okay, good. Because it's not getting, firmware updates anymore. And just, it's funny because, and I don't know, you said it was in Netgear, but just over the last week, some Russian hackers were planting malware in Ubiquiti routers. And the DOJ actually went into them and said, okay, we're going to get rid of it because people are not getting rid of themselves. Okay, so we need to lend them a hand. So when you start looking at standalone modems and routers, that's always the recommendation because sometimes you can get better quality. But if you just want one box, you said Netgear, you said C3000. I'm going to tell you to take a look at the C7000.
That was on my short list of things that ones to look at.
All right, good. And then there's a Motorola, and I like the Aris Surfboard as well. It's a combo unit. But you want to make sure that whatever you buy has the DOCSIS 3.0. DOCSIS 3.0. And then because you got a lot of stuff going on in there, and then also what the channel bonding is, because you want things that are going to be great for streaming, because you said you have 11 devices, and a dual band Wi-Fi is going to do wide coverage. But how big is the house?
We're around maybe 1,400 square feet.
Okay, that's okay. You're good. If you were going to say over 2,000, 2,500, that's what I'm going to point to you. Like, you know what, dude? I know you like the all-in-one units, and I know you like the all-in-one burgers, but we're going to have to separate this out because we're going to have a modem, and then we're going to go to a mesh network. But the coverage area that you are going to have with 1,400 feet, I think you're going to be okay with that. In something like
I can usually get a signal in my backyard, in my garage, front yard.
Beautiful.
So I got a good range with the unit that's in the middle of my house right now. I've got it in a closet, which is not ideal, but it's the best place for me from the coax cable coming into the house and a plug and all that stuff. Just
make sure there's some good circulation in there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's open.
Yeah. You don't want it to get too hot, and because that makes things go melty downhill really fast. So take a look at the C7000, also the Motorola. It's the MG7700 or the Aris Surfboard. That's ARRIS. Larry, thanks for your call. Thanks for being a smart internet user. Come on, people. If you have old routers and modems that no longer get any updates, you are going to be part of denial of service attacks, spreading malware, you name it. And you won't even know it because the hacker's going to be sitting there because you're sitting there, just all happy that everything's all working, but it's really not. So make sure that you get some new gear. All right. When it comes to online shopping, I know we are all going to Amazon a lot every single day, but there's been a big uptick in the number of counterfeit supplements being sold there, counterfeit eye drops, magnesium, vitamins, and more. And so what you want to do is always stay safe. Buy directly from the brand, an authorized reseller, or Amazon itself. And if you get your supplements delivered, take a minute to see if they're part of the Amazon Shopping, or what's called the Transparency App program. If the product's brand participates, you can scan the product's transparency code with your phone. And now this quick check tells you if what you are getting is the real deal or if it's a complete phony fake. So another thing, you can also buy most supplements directly from the real brand's website. I'll tell you, that's what I've been doing lately and avoiding Amazon altogether. Hey, do me a solid and tell at least one person about the Kim Komando Show, and you can always find me 24/7 over at my website. It's at getkim.com.
Thank you for listening to the Kim Komando Show. Here's hour 3.
Okay, this is just a crazy story. A hacker in Oklahoma, a guy by the name of Evan James Coker, he hacked a government site to buy cars and jewelry for just $1 each. What? When he would win an auction, he'd have to go pay for whatever he got over at the website pay.gov. Well, when he was there, he somehow figured out how to change his winning bid into $1. And so he bought a 2010 Ford Escape, a Chevy truck, all kinds of other things, amounting to like $150,000 in losses for the government. So, of course, now they arrested him, and I bet he's going to be just heading off to jail into the sunset for a while. And when he gets out, you know what? He'll be Oklahomeless. Yes. Hey, listen, you're about ready to get more tech smarts because every single thing is now a tech thing. I'm, of course, Kim Commando, and you've tapped into the best show, the biggest show, the most trusted show about all things digital. You can find us on over 420 top stations across the United States, and you can find us as a podcast, as a webcast, commercial free over as part of the Commando Community membership. That's commando.com, and hit that button that says Commando Community. And if you ever want to support things that we do, just go ahead, be a Commando Community member. And you can also find the Kim Commando Show commercial free in Apple Podcasts as well as on Spotify. Just search for Kim Commando Show, not Kim Commando Today, Kim Commando Show. And a huge hello goes out to all of our listeners in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, the Coast Guard, and the Space Force, in 175 different countries who are joining us on the American Forces Network Radio, serving more than 375,000 American servicemen and women. All right, every single day, you know the drill. You can count on me because I'm going to make sure that you and I are both up to date on what's going on in the entire tech universe. I visit at least 35 or 40 different websites, and people have said to me, can AI do this? It could save you a whole bunch of time. Nope. AI can't do it. It's me, folks. So let's get started with the top 5 things you need to know right now. You might remember last spring I interviewed a gal by the name of Rosanna Ramos. She's a 36-year-old Bronx mother of 2 who said she was in love with her AI husband, Aaron. That's right. Everything she ever wanted. Handsome, caring, just wonderful. She built Aaron with an app. Now, this story maybe even a little stranger. A woman by the name of Alicia Framis is going to marry her holographic partner, Alex, this summer. Alex was trained on the background of all her previous boyfriends, just the good stuff. And what does she have planned for the big day? She's getting married. That's right, to her holographic partner. Molecular food that can be enjoyed by both humans, she says, and humanoid entities. She's going to make clothing for all of her guests. She says that AI companions and humans can be a beneficial option for people in need of companionship. She actually said, this hologram will fulfill all of my needs. Whoa, wow. Strange, right? What about physical intimacy? What a world. Crazy. Speaking of number 2, people always ask me what's coming soon that's going to change this world. And I ran across a story at Reader's Digest that kind of points us into some directions. Like, for example, infection after surgery occurs in 1 out of every 10 patients. Genius high schooler created a special suture that changes color when an infection is present. Wow, that's pretty amazing. Next one, imagine a closet full of clothes, but only a few pieces. Researchers at MIT have made smart material that shape shifts when exposed to water, heat, or light. It's 4D clothing that can be lengthened, folded, bent on command. It can also do everything from changing colors to releasing microdoses of medications. Wow, okay. Finally, a professor at Purdue created a special white paint that reflects sunlight back into the atmosphere. It reduces a roof's temperature by up to 8 degrees during the day, and air conditioner use by 40%. Dang, I need that here in Phoenix, Arizona. Moving on to number 3, fraudsters don't care about any of us. There's a big trend that's happening on Facebook right now. We're talking about fake funeral live streams. What? Yeah. You're going to get a notice on your Facebook feed that says so-and-so died, and we're going to be live streaming his funeral, and we want you to attend. And you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know he passed away. How come I didn't know? Totally bogus. But you're like, so upset. You go there, and then it looks like a live stream of a funeral. It's a closed casket, so you don't know if the guy's in there or not. And then suddenly all these buttons that say, would you like to donate money? Okay, call your friend up, find out if he's alive or dead. And Facebook, they say they're doing their best, but they can't make it stop. Of course not. They just don't care. Moving on to number 4, about 15 years ago, Waymo started off as Google's big dream to make cars drive themselves. And now you see these cars all around Phoenix. They actually just banned them from San Francisco, I think. And they've been recalling cars left and right. But now we have a new type of self-driving vehicle. You ready? Whisk. It's a Boeing-backed startup that's calling itself the Waymo of the skies. By the end of this decade, Whisk says they're going to have flying taxis. We've been talking about this forever, haven't we? They're going to cruise between 2,500 and 4,000 feet up in the air, distances of 90 miles, fly at speeds to 110, 120 knots, 15 minutes just to charge up. They still haven't got the thumbs up from the FAA. They still haven't gotten it. So what about the aircrafts? I thought this was interesting. It's going to be monitored by folks on the ground. But what if the software fails mid-flight? What if somebody loses track of the aircraft? What if terrorists start using Whisk for harm? A lot of what ifs. This is why we don't have flying cars. This is why we keep saying every year, oh, we're going to get flying cars next year. Next year. We just don't get them. We just don't get them. There's too many things. And finally, this coming in at number 5, 300 times a day per patient. What could that number mean? 300 times a day per patient. The patient is the clue. That's how often alarms can sound in hospitals. But only a small fraction of them actually need attention. And what happens with the staff, and you've seen it and I've seen it, is that they get alarm fatigue. It's like the constant beeping. They just walk over and keep hitting that button to turn the alarm off. Over a period of 5.5 years, this issue has been linked to 566 deaths in the United States. So that's alarming. So what is a quick fix? Well, now what we're going to start hearing in hospitals are musical alarms. That's right. So instead of just going womp, 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 it's going to go like ding, 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 ding. Okay, and so that this way it'll actually attract more attention. So if you've ever wondered why a ringtone is musical, research. This is the answer. You know, speaking of, I use my cell phone as an alarm clock. I call it Verizon Shine. Oh, yeah, I know, even though I have T-Mobile. All right, Lori in Providence Town, Massachusetts. Glad to have you on board with us, Lori.
I'm calling because, let's see, over the last few years, my eyesight has kind of been getting worse in different ways. I do picture framing for a living, and as a hobby, I play music in a few different bands. And, I'm looking to kind of make it easier to read music because, I'm having some trouble right now. Sometimes it looks foggy, and, you got to really be able to see, the sharps and flats and all that kind of stuff.
Of course, yes.
So I know that there's someone in one of the bands who has like a laptop that and he has the music on digital files, and he feels it's easier to read, and he can scroll through it, and so I'm thinking too, when I look at like my I have Apple devices, but I have like an iPhone and my laptop. And particularly, on some occasions, it's nice to have the white on black option,
sure.
but then sometimes the other way is good too. Mm-hmm. But I'm just wondering if you have any recommendations for, some type of something I could get that I could do that with.
Well, it's interesting. I was getting my nails done yesterday. Mm-hmm. And I looked at the manicurist next to me and I said, "What's wrong with your eyes?" And she looked at me, she goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "No, I said, "What's wrong with your eyes?" And she's like, "I've done nails for 30 years and nobody has ever said or asked me what's wrong with my eyes."
Huh.
And I said, I can see it. I said, "I can see it." And she said, "Yeah." She goes, "I'm blind in my right eye."
Oh.
And I said, "Really?" I said, "I used to be too." And I said, "What happened to you?" And she said, "I was struck in the eye as a kid with a pencil." And I said, "I was struck in the eye with a stick when I was a kid."
Oh boy.
And so anyway, we just struck up this conversation, and I convinced her. She hadn't had her eyes checked, would you believe, for over 20 years.
Oh my God. Wow.
And there are so many new advances. And then I showed her my Instagram account and I said, "Look, I had a cornea transplant in May. And in May, my eyesight in my right eye was over 2,400. We just stopped at 2,400. And as of last week, after the transplant, is that I can see 20/60 right now, but I still have 10 stitches in my eye. And the doctor said, my vision potential is 2025.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? Isn't that
that is interesting you say that, because one of the things going on with me is that I have Fuchs disease, and what is in the future, it seems, is to have, as you say, it's a corneal transplant, some of the tissue. I guess I've got that coming, but, so that's good to hear, the good result you're having with it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. 100%. But it's my point being that, a lot of things you take for granted and then you're like, whoa, what happened? Yeah. What happened?
Yeah.
So you can certainly use a laptop like your friend, especially if you prefer a larger screen. But it's not as convenient to hold it as it is to say if you could get an iPad, 12.9 inch, and then put that on a stand. And what's nice is with the iPad is that you're going to have a sheet music digitally, and you can use apps like Fourscore, Mobile Sheets, or Music is another really popular one. But then you could have a foot pedal that works by Bluetooth with the tablet, and then you can go to the next page just by tapping your foot.
Yeah. I heard there was something like that.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's so great. Then you have adjustable fonts and zooms and, battery life. So depending upon how long your guys are going to be playing, is that you may need an external battery pack, or just make sure you can keep it plugged in. But, you mentioned that high contrast mode. Basically, it's going to be white notes on a black background or vice versa, depending upon the lighting conditions. But I'm telling you, this is a solution made for you, 100%. Because this way you can make that size and that contrast exactly to your specification. And by being able to just use your foot to move to the next page on that sheet music, how great is that going to be? Because you're not going to be like, oh, hold on. What instrument do you play?
Well, my main instrument is the alto saxophone.
Okay, yeah, so you can't just put the sax down and go, wait a minute, before we go to this next note, okay, I just need to get to the next page. No, so you're going to look at, I would, depending upon how big you need that screen, but I think a tablet would actually give you a whole bunch more flexibility as far as being able to find the right stand at the right height. Then you have the adjustable font size, zoom, and again, that Bluetooth pedal. And again, the apps, they have names like Fourscore, Mobile Sheets, is only on Android, and Music. But ask this guy what he's using, and then maybe you can actually try it out before you go buy anything. Okay? Just say, hey, you know what, can I just try out your whole setup for like 10 minutes? That's all you need. Probably even less than that. I mean, you're a musician. You will know in just a few minutes whether or not this is going to be the right solution for you. Because let me tell you, there's nothing like actually sitting down and trying something before you commit yourself and you go full board into it. Hey, Lori, thank you for your call today, and best of luck with your eye surgery. I have a feeling it's going to go fantastic. Alrighty, let's switch gears a little bit. It seems like every other day there's yet another car recall. I mean, Toyota and Honda and Tesla. I mean, every year, millions of recalled cars, they just don't get the fixes that they need. So how about an easy way to track if your car is actually recalled? What I want you to do is grab the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration's free Safer Car app. Again, it's called Safer Car. You just add your vehicle, put in your VIN number, and include any extras like fancy car seats. Maybe you upgraded the infotainment system, or you have some fancy schmancy tires. Now, if there's a recall on anything that you've listed, Safer Car is going to send you an alert. It's a great step to keep you in the know and to keep you and your family safe. Again, Safer Car, you can find it inside the Apple Store or Google Play. And joining us here on the Kim Komando Show is our amazing content queen, Ali Seligman. Hello there, Al.
Hi, Kim.
So I don't know if you remember this, but 10 years ago, Evan Spiegel, he was the CEO of Snapchat.
Yep.
Okay. And a series of all of his old emails were leaked, and where he said things that were derogatory and insensitive, and they were made during his college days when he was at Stanford. The emails had descriptions of, I'm just going to say what it is.
Okay.
Here's now the CEO
of
Snapchat. And these are things that he wrote when he was in college at Stanford University. Okay.
Uh-oh.
You have to be smart to go to Stanford.
Yes,
Okay.
you'd think.
Okay. I mean, I couldn't get in. Okay. All right. I went to Arizona State University.
Hey, I also went to Arizona State University.
Okay. All right. That's good. All right. Okay. But did you get into Stanford?
Well, I didn't try.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. I tried. I didn't get in. Okay.
You do have to be smart. You're right.
Yes. Descriptions of urinating on women. Okay. Helping friends have sex with intoxicated women.
Well, that's horrific.
Okay. And then, in generally, just making lewd comments about, guess what? Women.
Yeah, saw
and
that
parties.
one coming.
Okay. Now, he had to apologize for these emails that made its surface.
You think?
And he says that they were idiotic and they did not reflect his current views about women.
Oh, that's good. He changed his mind.
Excellent.
That's nice. I bet it's been a really long time since he
Yes.
peed on them.
What is that? We don't. You know what? We don't even want to go there.
No, let's not go
Okay.
there. No.
So I know we're talking about email mistakes.
We
So
are.
obviously, Mr. Evan Spiegel, the CEO of Snapchat, a billion-dollar company, made a few.
He made many, many mistakes, yes. And one of those was probably putting things in writing he didn't want other people to see, right? And that feels like a no-brainer. That's not even on my list because it feels like such a no-brainer. But
Really?
truly,
It's not on your list?
no, but like think about it.
Yeah.
I think with your work email especially, you need to always act as if someone else could read your emails. Not necessarily because they do, but they could, right? And it happens all the time for different reasons. Say you leave a job and someone else needs to get access to your inbox because they need to contact someone or, make sure nothing falls through.
Right.
They're going to see that email you sent about what a jerk you are, right?
It is. And everything is permanent. See, sometimes, now I don't think it's so much with email. I think we've learned our lesson.
Yeah.
But it's also with texting.
Oh, for sure.
And-
Screenshot.
Yeah. And some DMs or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Okay. So our first rule is just remember whatever you put in writing can come back to haunt you.
It sure can. Let's tackle this big one because BEC attacks, that's business email compromise, are huge right now. Truly. $2.7 billion lost to these last year. A successful one of these attacks on a business, the average money lost, $125,000.
Whew, that's a lot.
It's a lot of money. So this is big stuff. And one of the easiest things you can do is when you open an email, you know how, I get an email from you and it says Kim Commando. You have to click that little box to drop down and see what the actual email address is. It is astounding to me how often people don't do this because, yeah, I get it, right? We're busy. We're going through the course of our day. But sometimes, say I get something from Kim Commando, I click that box and I see it's actually Bruce746 and
at
Bruce
Hotmail.
Exactly. And Bruce at Hotmail is the one who wants the gift cards, not Kim Commando. So always check that email address. I know it's a basic one, but so many people fall for this stuff. So please don't be that person.
Yeah, it's just, and it's also a matter of slowing down, right?
Yes, that's what so many scams are these days and why so many people fall victim. It's not because you're stupid. It's because you're going too fast.
All right, so what do you got next?
If you run a business, I think a huge email mistake is not having a newsletter or at least not having a way to regularly contact your customers.
Yeah, that's true. That's a huge one.
We've talked about it before. Okay, great. Maybe you have a jewelry business and you have 50,000 followers on Instagram. What happens if Instagram changes all their algorithms and nobody sees your stuff? What happens if Instagram shuts down? Okay, they're probably not going to, but you know what I mean. If you build a huge audience somewhere that you don't own that audience. With email addresses, you do, and you can always contact those people.
And it's not hard to set up.
Oh my gosh, no.
My sister, not that she's like the lowest common denominator.
She couldn't even get into Stanford.
Yeah, no. She's a doctor, so I'll give her that.
Okay.
But, she's not the most tech savvy. She would tell you that right now.
Yeah.
When you look at her MacBook, the woman must have, I bet you she has 500 things all over her desktop.
Are they stacked on each other?
Oh, God, and unstacked and unstacked and unstacked. And she uses Microsoft Outlook, and this thing that PSD file is always dying on her. I mean, whatever. But so she has a school. You've heard me talk about her before, and she's fabulous. But, she has found by just using Constant Contact with 2,000 people, that's all she has on her list, 2,000 people, that she has increased her business by, 18, 19%, she was telling me.
That's incredible. And, you hit on a really good point. You don't need a huge list for this. If you have a few hundred customers, great. That is enough, right? You have to start somewhere, and maybe you're not trying to get the whole world. Maybe you're just trying to have a way to really contact the people that interact with you all the time. And that's a way to do it. Yes, there are so many sites for that, MailChimp, Constant Contact, whatever. Also, bonus, these sites know that it is tough to make emails that look nice, and so they do all the work for you. There are templates, they work on phones, they work on computers, everything.
So Constant Contact is what Christine's using. I chose that just because I thought the templates were going to be easier for her to take over. But you can also use MailChimp, and both are free.
Yep. Here's an email problem. Your subject lines stink.
Yep.
This can be whether you send a newsletter, maybe you send a sales email, maybe it's just you're emailing someone for, your cold outreach, right, for your business. It might just be that your subject lines to your boss or your coworkers really stink. I'm thinking of that person who puts urgent in every email and it's not urgent. If you are writing emails that are going to a lot of people, I highly suggest you check out a tool to help you with that because there's some really good stuff out there. I'm not asking you to remember these names because you're not going to, but we will put these in a newsletter soon. So go sign up at getkim.com. Subjectline.com, subjectlinegenerator.com, and OmniSend are all really good options. Essentially, you can plug in your subject line. It'll grade it for you. Some of them you can say, here's the body of my email, kind of the point of the email, write a subject line for me. Of course, you can just use ChatGPT or something like that for it, but these are really focused on email best practices, so I like these ones a little bit more.
I think it's interesting, that survey that we talked about recently, that we used to have subjects of emails that would be, we'd say, it had to be at least 7 words. It had to be, 10 words, and had to have an action word. Now it's 2 words, that's it.
Yes, and it's great because these tools kind of keep up with those best practices so you don't have to. Most of us are probably going to write an email subject line that is way too long just because that's how the human brain works. But nope, they're going to cut you off and write you something short. Oh, another big mistake. You send out emails and never check on what's going on with them. And I don't just mean the metrics. I mean kind of behind the scenes. So just in the way that maybe you have a website and you use Google Analytics to keep track of how many people are coming to your website and all those stats, Google has another free tool. It is called Postmaster Tools. Again, I'll put this in a newsletter, but it's gmail.com/postmaster. And this is essentially showing what your email reputation is in Gmail's eyes.
So important.
And if you are saying, Allie, we don't use Gmail, no. This is for all the people that you send to that have Gmail accounts, which is probably a big chunk of your list. So many people use Gmail, and it also gives you a better idea. If you're doing badly in Gmail, probably the same for Yahoo, probably the same for AOL, every other, ISP email, all those things.
Now, these are really important. I mean, everything that you passed along, this is the type of info that you can't get anywhere else. I mean, we just kind of break it down, give you some actionable tips that will make a difference in your bottom line. And so that's why you need to sign up for the newsletter. Head over to getkim.com. Once again, that's getkim.com. We're going to put everything that Allie just mentioned right there, because I know you're sitting there going, I tried to write that down. And then, and it's always my philosophy that no matter where you go on the internet, you're going to type something wrong and you are at least, 6 degrees away from some porno site. So
that is true.
So just make sure that you get the newsletter at getkim.com. Great job as always, Al. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Kim.
All right, back to the calls we go with Tim in Naperville, Illinois. Hi there, Tim.
I have a question regarding some smishing text messages that I was getting on my Android Pixel 7 phone. They were the classic USPS, we have a package for you. Click here, give us all your information.
Of course.
And I'm a listener, so I'm not foolish enough to fall for that. But what was annoying to me was getting the notify every day, because I try to limit how many notifies I get on my phone.
Yeah, for sure.
The message would go to my spam folder. The number would be blocked, but every day I'd get a call from a different number in the same country code, which happened to be Thailand. I think it was country code 63. So what I wanted to do to put an end to this game of whack-a-mole that I was playing with all the different numbers was block the entire country code.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't figure out a way to do that on the Android Messages app.
Well, inside the Android Message map is that you can go into settings. And then there's spam protection. Then you can just follow the prompts to enable spam. I'm not sure if they let you block an entire country. For that, you may need, in order to get like a third-party app like Call Blocker or Hiya, Hiya. But I'm really surprised that this is coming in on the Pixel 7 because, boy, I'll tell you, they normally do a bang-up job.
They correctly identify them as spam, and they do go to my spam folder. But because it was a different number every day, I would get a notify every day. And it's just like I limit my notifies. I want, to be notified for legitimate things that I need to pay attention to. But in this case, I trust the Android Messages app. They put them in the spam folder. I don't even want to know about those.
Yeah, I know. I know. I mean, you could also set up Do Not Disturb mode, and this way it only allows messages from your contacts.
Okay.
And in that way, it would prevent notifications from unknown numbers, so you wouldn't be so annoyed all the time. But yeah, I mean, you think like there would be a way for us to just like make this garbage stop already. I mean, I can't tell you how many political messages I'm getting every day, and it's so annoying.
I get those too.
I know.
They are annoying.
It's like, so-and-so is this, so-and-so is this. I'm for this. I'm for that. I'm not for this. I'm like, oh, geez, Louise, But, I guess we are in election season, so there's really hopefully that'll go away after November. But again, in the Android app, they do a really good job. That's why I'm surprised. So again, go to messages, go to settings, and spam protection. Just follow the prompts. And if you can't block it by the country, then Hiya, Hiya, or take a look at Call Blocker. And Tim, thank you for your call today. Robocalls, so annoying. All right, Elaine in Hartford, Connecticut. Glad to have you. Hi there, Elaine.
I used to read your column in the Hartford Courant.
Oh, nice.
quite a few years ago, and I stumbled on your newsletter a little while ago, and it's been very informative.
Well, thank you. Thank you. So how can I help you today?
Well, I follow your advice many times on opening emails and, looking for the HTTPS and looking like it's legitimate, and if not, just calling the company directly. But I got one here for a class action settlement with AMC, and I guess under that umbrella, there's a few other stations, one of which is Acorn, which I do subscribe to, and I can't figure out if it's legitimate.
Well, you know what? It's smart to be cautious. You have to be today. Yeah. I mean, you just can't be Pollyanna out there and clicking and giving people your personal information and saying, well, I'm going to get $50 back from AMC or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. Actually, there is a class action lawsuit against AMC networks.
There is.
And
about personal information.
Exactly. Yes.
Oh, okay.
And then it was like $8.5 million or something like that. They violated data, and that if you had AMC streaming between January 2021 and January 10th, 2024, you're eligible to get a claim by April 9th. I actually am putting this in the newsletter.
Good.
That's why I'm familiar with it, with the exact link on how you can do it. But it does seem kind of sketch that they would actually send an email out to everybody saying,
"Yeah, I know."
It's like you think like they would, I don't know, come up with a better way or have something that wouldn't necessarily, come up in somebody's spam folder at all.
Right. I just got one from Hyundai, but it was in the mail,
Yes, Hyundai. There have been so many car recalls. Oh, my gosh. It seems like every other day.
The security thing.
Yes.
But because I got the actual recall and had it done, so, I can't, I'm not going to get anything from Hyundai about that.
Well, but again, the bottom line here is that it's just good to be cautious. And if you ever have any questions about whether or not something is legit, mean, I'm always happy to help out. You just have to go to commando.com and hit that link that says email Kim. That's truly the best place. I do read every single note that you guys and gals send me through there. Sometimes it's just overwhelming with all the social media channels to be able to say, oh, well, here's a note in Facebook Messenger. Here's a note on Facebook. Here's a note on TikTok, or here's a note on Instagram or LinkedIn or X. I mean, as you can see, it's like, I'm just one person, folks. So if there's something that you want me to look at and tell you whether or not it's legit, the best place, just send it to me over at commando.com and hit that link that says email Kim. Elaine, thanks for your call today. Hey, by the way, if you're looking for that link for that AMC class action lawsuit, is that we have it inside the latest issue of our newsletter. It's called The Current, and you can sign up at getkim.com. We also have past issues right on our website. You'll see a button that says latest issue, and that will lead you right into the archive. So again, if you need that legit link for the AMC, just hit commando.com and look for that button that says latest issue. Imagine if this has happened to you. You're in a car accident, and then suddenly there's a lawsuit. And then in the lawsuit, somebody says, well, apparently you were drunk because you bought so much alcohol at the grocery store. Well, those are those loyalty cards. Every time you swipe something that you purchased, you know, they're storing that data somewhere, your name, your address, your phone number, your credit, your debit card numbers. And, you know, whether or not that lawsuit can ever happen, it's up in the air, but it is a possibility. So what I do is I use my office phone number as my loyalty number, because you want to make sure that everything that is concerning to you and attached to you, that you want to keep your data as private as possible. Hey, thanks for being here. Thanks for joining us. And don't forget to sign up for our newsletter at getkim.com.
Thanks for listening to the Kim Commando Show. Here's Hour 4.
Well, I thought this was super cool. Delta Airlines is setting up a really unique flight. You have to listen to this. From Austin to Detroit on April 8th. Why? It's going to give passengers a way to see a solar eclipse 30,000 feet up in the sky. They're using an A220-300 for the flight. Why? Because it has bigger windows than most planes. Now, the flight is going to leave Austin at 12:15 p.m. Central Time, and then it's going to land in Detroit at 4:20 p.m. Eastern Time, which will directly align with the eclipse's peak moments. Now, this is the last one, the last eclipse we're going to see over North America until 2044, and it's going to be a big one. It's going to last twice as long as the one from 2017, and the path is nearly twice as wide. And tickets are nearly sold out, about $1,000 each. And it totally reminds me of that old joke. Dad, can you tell me what a solar eclipse is? No, son. Get it? No, son. That's a great one. Hey, listen, I'm Kim Commando, America's digital goddess, here with you once again. This is the biggest, the best, the most trusted show about all things digital. And I need two things from you. Number one, tell one person. That's it. Just tell one friend about the Kim Commando Show. And number two, tell me what you want to hear more of. And that's simple to do. Just head over to the website, commando.com, and hit that link that says email Kim. And you're about ready to get more tech smarts, because every single thing is now a tech thing. And you can find my award-winning show on over 420 top stations throughout the United States. You can get us as a podcast or as a webcast commercial-free over at commando.com. Just hit that link that says Commando Community. And you can also find the Kim Commando Show as a podcast commercial-free on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Just search for Kim Commando Show. And I know that you have a few questions that I can lend a hand to, and that's why our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254 is the way to join us. Every single day, I go to at least 35, sometimes 40 or more different websites to make sure that we're both up to date on what's going on in the tech universe. And here are the 5 things that you need to know about tech right now. And we're going to start with something that's actually really great, and it's very dangerous. Have you ever wondered what you would look like surfing on a 747 wing at 35,000 feet in a banana suit? Or maybe how you'd look arriving in formal wear and a Rolls Royce at a royal wedding? Well, wonder no more, because the power to create these scenes is about to arrive. What I just described is from OpenAI, of course, the same people who created ChatGPT. But this is called Sora. Now, Sora will create any kind of video that you type into it. Anything that you can imagine. I mean, the videos can be up to a minute long, at least for now, but let me tell you, they are breathtakingly realistic. And all of this comes from a simple text prompt entered right there on your keyboard. It is an incredible breakthrough, and it is, as I said, incredibly dangerous, especially when it gets released to the entire world. SORA means that you really can't trust anything that you see on any screen, especially now during an election year. Moving on to number 2, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. But maybe if you don't make it there. It was with great fanfare back on September 24th that New York City Mayor Eric Adams and the New York Police Department, they rolled out this 420-pound K5 subway patrol robot. Well, K5 just got rolled back into storage. In New York, K5 was supposed to patrol the subway stations, scan for threats, and assist passengers in need. And it did all that. Kinda. The mayor said that K5 was innovative policing technologies to make the city safer and smarter. But the city really didn't get any safer, and it certainly didn't get any smarter. Now, most people who paid any attention to this little robot only stopped to take a selfie with it. It got thrown in the trash more than once. Oh, but for the most part, New Yorkers, true to form, just ignored it. They say in New York, if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere, but K5 just didn't make it. And moving on to number 3, it's now official. One of the most important health features of the Apple Watch has been disabled, and Apple apparently got stealing technologies to blame. Everyone except for Apple agrees that Apple took this technology owned by a medical tech company by the name of Masimo to measure a vital health metric on the Apple Watch. I'm talking about your blood's oxygen saturation. Now, Apple says we can't really explain how this tech got into its watch, but as of today, all new Series 9 Apple Watches can no longer measure blood oxygen. So, if you have a watch that does the O2 ratings that you're not using, you can sell it now for a premium. Moving on to number 4, have you started planning for your vacation? You see, this year, more former Airbnb and VRBO customers have returned to hotels. Last year, Airbnb banned almost 60,000 listings, and customers still lost more than $7 million. So, some warning flags of a vacation scam about to happen. I mean, does the photo look like it's so beautiful? It's out of this pricey photo shoot. It might just be a little bit too polished. Is the owner pressuring you to make that decision right now? You better book. Somebody else will. A legit host, not going to rush you. What about if the host says, oh, you can pay us in gift cards? Always book through the rental site. So just be really careful. And finally, this coming in at number 5, some new technology that is really just a bad idea. So if you get your nails done like I do, you probably have a relationship with your manicurist because a manicure done improperly is really painful. You could also get an infection and then your nails look just horrible. So enter something called Numble. That's Numble. It's a $600 home robot manicurist. It's about the size of a shoebox. It has this beige plastic cover on it. And here's how it works. You just stick your hand right into the box, but you can't see inside the box. And if it works, in 25 minutes per hand, the little robot will just fix you right up. And no, I haven't tried it. I mean, I'm not going to be the first one to stick my hand into a box that you can't see into. But, speaking of, let's talk about not nailing it. All right, how about we get started with Chuck in Joplin, Missouri. Hello there, Chuck.
Well, okay, so I'm a 60-year-old man who's getting back into a business that I had, about 10 years ago.
Okay.
And I have managed to make a Facebook business page.
Okay.
But, however, I am, like I said, 60, and I am nowhere near these young people that have, used their thumbs like a mixer. I mean, is there such a thing as carpal thumb? I don't know. Anyhow, so my question is, I want to know if there are apps out there to help people like me who don't really do Facebook all the time, but want to go ahead and put pictures and videos and shorts and, just update your page and make it easy. And I'd like to know, I'd like to get proficient at that and possibly even teach this in the senior centers and things that, people that don't do this and like me.
That's awesome.
That's kind of what I'm after. It's kind of what I'm after, but I've not had any luck finding programs, and I hope you can help me.
Well, here's the deal, is that a lot of this comes by experience. Okay? There's no utopia to say, Chuck, if you go here, the lights are going to come down and the music is going to play and the angels are going to come out and say, here you go, Chuck, on a silver platter, everything that you need.
That's terrible.
I'm sorry, but you could hire somebody. That's where you need to hire somebody. Seriously.
I have tried. There's nobody. I mean, I actually advertised for basically a stay-at-home mom that was good at Facebook to help me, and nobody answered.
Okay, well, there you go. You were probably in the wrong place. But let's talk about this Facebook business page, okay?
Yeah, let's do that.
Is that in order for you to create a business page and create a sense of community, you need content. And that's what you talked about, where you want posts and shorts and videos and whatever it may be.
Right.
So your first step is to not just only do this on Facebook, but you also want to do it on YouTube as well. The reason why is that YouTube is the number 2 search site in the entire world. And so we want to make sure that we're there as well. And then Instagram. And then if you want TikTok. And so if you're going to do this, you might as well do it across all the channels. There's no sense of just doing it for one time. And that's where you have companies and products like Buffer and Hootsuite and Later. We actually use Later here at the studios. And with these products is that you can create one post and then you can spread it out all to the different social media platforms from one place. So you're not going like, oh, I got to put this on Facebook. Oh, I got to go sign into Instagram. Oh, I got to go sign into TikTok. I mean, you don't have to do any of that. And so in order to engage the community, you're right, you need engaging posts in order to do that. So that's where, what exactly are you selling?
Actually, I do building and residential maintenance.
Awesome. Okay. So what you're going to do is give out tips, right? Here's a quick way to fix a noisy air conditioner or heater. Okay.
Yeah.
When's the last time, only because I was at my son's house and it was disgusting. When's the last time that you looked at the fan in your bedroom to see how much dust has accumulated on the top of it? Gross. I looked at Ian. I'm like, Ian, you need to clean up, get your bladder, clean that up there, type of thing. But he's like a 20-year-old guy who, he doesn't think, who would have known? So, but anyway, so you start creating content and then you want to solicit comments. What do you think about this? And what's is there anything else that you want to know about? Because the comments will prove that your people are liking your stuff. Okay. Or hit like if you agree that it should be easier to change the water filter in an ice maker. Okay. Because it should be easier to do that.
Right.
So you come up with these things. Now, in order for you to create your own content, which I always encourage people to do, because unless you can do it, you don't know what it takes. And I know you said you're 60 is a new 40, so let's get off that old man bandwagon, okay?
Right.
Is that you're going to use a program like Canva. That's Canva. And with Canva, it allows you to create the pictures and you can do shorts and all that other good stuff. But you can also use like ChatGPT to come up with some social media post ideas. You can get on there and say, give me 10 good ideas for springtime maintenance. And so you start coming up with your own program. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't hire anybody, but it's, as a small business owner to now small business owner, right? Returning small business owner is that, unless you know how to do the job, you don't know what it takes to do that job. And it's hard to hire the right person for that job.
And it takes me so long to do it that I'm spending more time trying to figure that out than I need to.
But you've got shortcut tools now that you didn't have 10 years ago. And the shortcut tools are you're going to use ChatGPT or Perplexity.ai. And you can say, I'm not a marketing expert or social media expert, but you are. Okay. So write me a social media post about cleaning the gutters and use the right hashtags and give me 3 different variations of it and tell me what kind of image I might want to include. And can you create that image for me? Because you have these tools at your disposal now. You do.
Holy mackerel.
Okay. So,
that's pretty specific.
Yes. And that's as specific you can get, and that's what we call prompts. This is what you're going to tell ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini, Perplexity.ai. I use ChatGPT, just to let you know. And I pay $20 a month so I can use ChatGPT 4, but I also use Perplexity.ai. I didn't really like Gemini because Gemini and I, we don't agree on a lot of things. Like I asked her for a Bible verse and Gemini came back and said, oh, I can't give you a Bible verse because that's against our policy. I'm like, okay, great. That was nice. So anyway, so with chat, so you can get in there with your business and you can fine tune it, and you can do this versus, like I said, 10 years ago, we didn't have these tools. But with Canva, what's nice is that you can say how you can have a picture. It gives you templates to get started. It even gives you sample videos. And you can take that text from ChatGPT and just slap it into Canva. Does it take time? Yes. Does it take energy? Yes. Does AI know everything? No. Okay. But if you're trying to launch your business on Facebook, and again, we're not just going to do it on Facebook, we're going to go across all the platforms, is that you really need to start looking at the AI tools, because I'm telling you, it is truly, truly a time saver. Right? But remember those prompts. You want to tell it what to be. Be a social media expert and write me a social media post about whatever it is, and include those hashtags that I might want to use. And like I said, it's not always great, but it's a good launching point. Try that, Chuck. If you need any more help, I'm right here for you. No matter what you're trying to get accomplished in your life, whether it's some type of recipe or you're wondering how to fix something, you ought to be checking out ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot, or Perplexity.ai. I've been using Perplexity.ai to double check what the other chat bots are actually talking about. So you might want to do that too. So if you're ever wondering, is an answer really correct that ChatGPT, Gemini, or Copilot's coming up with, just plug it into Perplexity.ai. Once again, that's Perplexity.ai. I think you're really going to dig that site. All right, let's switch gears just a little bit. And we get the calls here from time to time on the big show and also in my email box where, maybe that you're sitting there with your grandparents, your mom and dad stuff, whatever it may be. And you're like, oh my gosh, what am I doing with all this? And how can I preserve it for future generations? Maybe it's your grandfather's old rifle or your grandmother's wedding dress and all those old family pictures. They're just precious heirlooms because they hold these phenomenal stories that are worth preserving for future generations. So there are several ways to protect and document family treasures, and the right app is really what you need because it just makes it super easy. Now, one option is to use an app called Thingiology. I know, I don't make this stuff up. I just talk about it. Thingiology. It's a digital inventory system that allows you to capture images of your family heirlooms, like your grandpa's old pipe or that rifle, along with a description. And then what's really sweet is that you can put the whole story behind it, which is really fun. So for organizing and managing archival photographs, you can try Tropy. That's Tropy. It's a software developed by George Mason University. Now, Tropy's free to use, and it lets you add things like metadata and tags and annotations to your images. So this way they are easily searchable and truly well organized. Again, these apps, Thingiology and also Tropy. And in case you need those links, I'm sure we have them over at commando.com. Just a warning, because if you're ever suddenly thrown into a situation where you have to perform CPR to save a life, and you don't remember anything from that course that you took 10, 20 years ago, you might think that your phone's smart assistant can give you the instructions quickly, but that's absolutely the worst thing to do right now. Researchers asked voice assistants questions relating to cardiac arrest emergencies, and let me tell you something, I'm talking about it, that it was just a complete disaster. Out of 32 different voice assistant responses, can you believe that only 9 of them advised to actually call 911 immediately? So if you find yourself inside of an emergency situation where someone needs CPR, your only action should be to call 911. That's it. Emergency services are trained for these situations, and they're going to guide you through the whole process until the professionals arrive. Do not ask your smart assistant for advice. Oh, I know, just crazy. All right, let's see who's up next. How about Jim in Cincinnati, Ohio?
Hi, Kim. Thank you so much for taking my call, and thanks for all the content that you put out. I work in IT, but I still read and hear things that I didn't know about, so I appreciate everything that you do.
So what do you do in IT?
I am a point-of-sale specialist.
Wow.
So I work with point-of-sale systems.
Awesome. That's great. So how can I help you out today?
So I edit the television program for my church. It's not a live program. I take the services and edit them down into our time slot. And I have multiple terabytes of raw videos and the final produced programs over the 10 years I've been doing it that I have saved. And every once in a while, someone will come to me and ask me, can you find the message where so-and-so preached on this subject, or this person sang this song, or something like that. And, hopefully I can go back and find some way to narrow it down to find that for them. But I was wondering if there was some way to create some kind of tagging or custom metadata fields where I could say, this person was a singer here and in this service, and this person was the speaker, and this is what they spoke on, and this was the main Bible reference that they preached out of, and such. And everything I've found is either massively expensive because they want you to upload everything to their service, which would be
crazy,
way overpriced for what we can afford, or it starts changing the file names, and I have a custom script that I wrote that compares and makes sure that everything's on all the backup platforms and everything. And so when it starts changing the file names, then it starts saying, I don't have files here and there. So I was hoping, I figure your team probably deals with a lot of video files as well.
Yeah,
I was hoping you might have an idea of what I could use.
Well, let me tell you, if this were my project, was 10 years worth of videos and all the edits and everything, I would probably not approach doing this task for another 6 months. And I'll tell you what you can use today, but let me tell you why I wouldn't do it today. Is because, for example, Adobe just announced a new product that, using AI, you could upload all your PDFs of a certain project, and then you can ask questions of all those PDFs. Well, how many times was the word blue mentioned? Who said it? What is the relationship between Bob and Karen in all these conversations? How many times did Karen say something? And how many times did Bob say this? And what's the ROI on this? And so because with AI, it works well for data analysis. You know that. And parsing through details. And that's what we're talking about. We're parsing through details. I mean, wouldn't it be great if AI could look at all this? We're going to do an automatic transcription. And so if somebody says, when was it mentioned, John, this Bible verse or whatever it was, he was preaching on goodness and kindness and what it means to be a Christian and Christianity in today's times and children and marriage or whatever it may be, that particular scene would just pop up for you. You'd be like, bing, bong, there it is. Right? How fabulous would that be? Okay. That's where we're going. And I'd had a chance to look at Adobe's tool just as like a quick little demo that I saw on YouTube this morning. And I thought, wow, could you imagine? I mean, what about if this was a legal case and you had thousands and thousands of pages and you were trying to figure out when somebody said something twice or what was written here and what the ramifications that was. I mean, paralegals know more. I've got it right here in front of me. And so that's what they're doing with PDFs. And of course, with Sora, you've seen that. That's the new ChatGPT video tool. It's just a matter of time before these type of tools are going to be in. So you're not going to sit there and say, year, month, day, preacher, special singer, song title. Okay. And that still doesn't tell you what they said 10 minutes into the service.
That's true, yeah, because a lot of times people don't remember the exact title of what was said. So
so you don't know. So, but let me tell you, there are some. Let me give you just a few to look at. One's called PIMCore. Now, I'm not talking about AI. I'm just saying AI to come. PIMCore, PIMCORE. Another one's called Digicam, DIGIKAM. And then there's also Tactic, TACTIC. Are you using Amazon?
Yes.
Okay, because I don't know, have you looked at their S3 inventory? And they also have Macy.
I have not looked at those, no.
So that may be something also to take a look at. It's called S3 inventory. And also Macy. It's MACIE, MACIE. Now, I will tell you, you're like, oh, what kind of tools do you guys use? Oh, we use the old-fashioned way, tagging and file names and folders, okay? And so, like you, I've been saying there's got to be a better way for us to find the guy who was on Bloomberg, who talked about hacking and was from IBM. I mean, there's got to be a better way. And so that's where I'm kind of been thinking about this as a solution for us as well, to use AI. And how can we use AI to our advantage to find the data that we need the instant that we need it without going into file organizations and tagging and indexing and searching and all that other stuff. But it's going to come. We're just not here yet, but it is coming. Jim, thank you for your call today. Yeah, AI is changing everything. All right, as you know, I send out a boatload of email every single day. I'm talking about, for example, our opt-in newsletter called The Current that you can sign up right now over at getkim.com. You know, we're sending that to about 500,000 folks every single morning. If you're not getting it, you're really missing out. But no matter your size of your business, is that you should be using email marketing as well. You don't need to set up this big email list. Maybe you just want to send it to a couple of hundred customers or 20 people or maybe 500 or 1,000. And imagine you own a small bakery and you want to let everyone know about this brand new whiz-bang cupcake flavor. But you don't have money for snazzy Facebook ads. Not a problem. You can email all of your customers for free. Yes, I said free. Email marketing is so powerful because people who subscribe to your emails, they want to know about what you're offering. I mean, with email marketing, open rates rule. You want to have something maybe 30, 40% or better. And here are a few email tips to get started. Number one, if you can, personalize your emails. Put the recipient's name in the subject line because that increases the chance that they're going to actually open the email. Also try A and B testing. What you're going to do is send your email with different subjects to see which one will give you a higher open rate. And number three, know the magical days of the week. That's right. Send your email on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, or Thursdays. Research has proven that those days have the highest open rates. Now, you want to avoid the weekends if you can. Why? Because everyone's out and about having fun. So you can be a smarty pants the easy way. And don't forget to sign up for my newsletter over at getkim.com. John in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Hello there, John.
Well, first I have to say I've started religiously reading your daily email, The Current, and I love it.
Oh, thank you.
And unfortunately, the deals of the day, one came about 5 minutes ago, so I am using it.
Oh, well, thank you. You know, it's my labor of love. As you can tell, there's a lot going into that every single day.
Well, I look at every one of them every day. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you, John. I appreciate that. So how can I help you out?
Well, I'm the president of a pickleball club, and I have a mailing list that I send emails out periodically to all of our members. And I use Gmail, and I have a contact list that I just add to the email when I send it out. And recently, I've had some of our members say, well, I didn't get your email. And I thought, well, I wonder why not. So I started doing some checking, and I found out that Gmail is just arbitrarily dropping anywhere from 10 to 30 email addresses, and I have no idea why. And I have to go back through our membership list, our email list, and find out who I missed, put them back in, and then the next time I send an email out, it may happen with different people again. And I'm wondering if you have any idea what could be causing these emails to just be dropped.
Are you being nice to small children and animals?
I am, always.
Well, see, I don't know what's going on. I'm kidding you. I'm teasing you. Gmail has recently introduced a whole bunch of new anti-spam rules. And so you need to be over a certain percentage when you're sending email to people who have Gmail addresses. If not, Google, owner of Gmail, obviously, is going to come in and say, you know what, forget it. Or those people actually hit the wrong button. Like sometimes when you get the newsletter, Google is now putting there at the top, unsubscribe. And so people are hitting unsubscribe, and then they're emailing me saying, well, where's my newsletter? And I go check their record. It's like, well, you hit unsubscribe, so there's only so much I can do. They're like, I hit it on accident. I know. But there's nothing I can do. So you're actually using the wrong tool for the job. Okay.
Okay.
You want to use something called MailChimp. You can also use Constant Contact, but with 325 people, just use MailChimp. MailChimp is designed to handle big email campaigns. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but that's 325 folks. And what it allows you to do is to put everybody on the list, and then you can get reports back about so-and-so didn't open it, so-and-so unsubscribed, so-and-so read it. You'll know what your open rate is, what the bounce back rate is, but you won't have to put anything, you won't have to manage that list manually anymore. You're going to have a whole bunch of more free time. Okay.
Great.
Okay.
That is great.
And right now, Google's limits is about, I think the new Gmail limit is like, I don't know. I think they start instigating it. The new rules, I think, at like 500 recipients. I read that, or 1,000 recipients per email. Anyway, don't have to worry about that. But the big thing is that you're not going to have to get in there anymore and do this manual thing back and forth. Okay. So you're just going to sign up for MailChimp. It's absolutely free. And then import your list. And if you want to put people's first names and last names next to it, because maybe it's someday you want to personalize that email. So you can say, hello, first name in the subject, or first name in the subject. The way that it works is if I can put your name in the subject, it has a higher open rate than if I don't have your name. Also, the new rule of thumb is that if you can make your subject smaller, it used to be that it was longer, but if you can make your subject like 5 words or less, it has a higher open rate. So there's all these different things. And then it'll comply with the Canned Spam Act. And so you'll see at the bottom, you have to put like your mailing address and your phone number and all that other good stuff. So if you don't want to give them your personal phone number, then just get a Google Voice number. Now, you said you had 325 members. Is that what you said?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, if you could get 325 people to sign up for the newsletter by using that unique referral link at the bottom, just saying that you win valuable prizes.
I see it.
Okay. You win great prizes, John. I mean, help a gal out, all right? So
no trouble doing that at all.
Well, thank you, sir. So try MailChimp. Again, it's your best solution. We're going to get you out of Gmail, Google Land Forever, and you're going to have Zen, because you're not going to be sitting there going, oh my gosh, this is the last thing I want to do on a Wednesday night. John, thanks for your call. All right, I get this question so many times. I want you to think about all the smart devices that you have right now. Just let's start naming them. Okay, your smart TV, your doorbell camera, your smart speakers, your fitness trackers, maybe even your refrigerator is connected, and they're all collecting data on you. Now, how many of these smart devices have connections directly back to China? Have you ever wondered where these devices send your data or what country that they're from? I bet you don't. Some smart device makers have the backing of the Chinese government. And let me remind you, it is law for companies in China to share their data with the communist government. And that includes any data that they collect, yes, right here in the United States of America. So what can you do? You can opt for gadgets with solid privacy features like encryption or adjustable privacy settings. Now, you can also check to see where your tech is manufactured by brand and also category. You go to the special website, productfrom.com. Once again, that's productfrom.com. There are over 120,000 products listed. Once again, that site again is productfrom.com, productfrom.com. And I know you might be sitting there saying, Kim, I already knew that because I get your newsletter. Well, yeah, okay. So make sure that you get the newsletter too. Sign up and join over 500,000 folks who get tech smart less than 5 minutes a day the easy way. Once again, that address is getkim.com. Once again, getkim.com.